I have to take that back because my anxiety. But once I get through this crazy anxiety, yeah, I would like to be going out. Not like I did when I was in my 30s or my 20s. But a lot of times I'm not going out because of my anxiety and I get in my head. But I know I'm gonna get past that. I'm gonna get past that. But I would like when I'm going out this time, I like to be going out when I'm doing, fancy things. Fancy things, not fancy things that's going to involve making more money or making connections to make more money. And you're hanging out with people that are in that bubble of making more money, of moving someplace, not just hanging out for shits and giggles. Those days are gone. Everything needs a purpose. Purpose. A purpose. Yeah, I'm so happy. My body's looking good. My body's getting nice. Yeah, I can say that. I'm a gay man. I'm a gay black man. I can say that. Who's going to have a problem? You have a problem? Don't have a problem. Don't have a... think about something that you are really grateful for. Was that I've been doing that a lot, but I've made a point for the last couple of years to really be aware of my gratitude. And for the last week or so, I've made it a point that in the morning, just when I put my foot on the floor, gratitude. It's a lot of things that I did this week that was different. I'm not using my headsets as much at the gym or when I'm walking because I was putting on my headsets to protect me from things that I thought people were going to say and do. And I wasn't putting on my headsets to enjoy the music. I was putting on my headsets out of fear. And I didn't this last week and started this week. I was saying, no, you know what? If I don't feel like listening to music while I'm walking, I'm not going to listen to music. If I don't feel like listening to music at the gym, because they have music on at the gym, I just want to, have quietness in my ears and listen to music, I'm going to do that. And I've been doing that. And none of this crazy shit about people being racist or homophobic or none of that stuff happened. None of it happened. None of it. Didn't see it, didn't notice it, didn't pay, walking home, none of that. And I'm like, it's about me getting confident. And once I get confident in my own skin, in my own shoes, all that paranoia and anxiety is going to dissipate. Because the universe is trying to tell me it's all you, baby. It ain't them. It's all you. And once you get you in order, all that shit's going to bye. It's all going to dissipate. It's about you getting out of this triangle of self-obsession and just living in self without the obsession. Because there's a difference in living in self and being self-obsessed. Two different things. And that's where I'm at. I'm self-obsessed because I'm not living in self. I'm not living in self. So instead, I've become self-obsessed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because everybody, if you live long enough, you're going to have to ask the question, who am I? Where am I going? And what's my purpose? And you're going to have to let go of all that pain. All that stuff that happened to you in your childhood and the bad. It's come to the point where you're going to have to say, I am not a victim. I cannot play a victim. And I cannot continue to live in the past. Because what I've learned at my age, 52, that the past really has no bearing. It has no bearing. It informs you. It can tell you, oh, well, I did that. I don't want to do that again. But it has no bearing on the now. It only has bearing if you bring it to the now. And then when you bring it to the now, you are no longer living in the now. You are in the past, reacting from your past. So I am quite aware the past has no power unless you give it power. And understanding that people are foulest. I mean, I was raped as a kid. I was raped as a kid. Yeah, let me get real. Yeah, I was raped. 8 years old. We lived on 16th Street in Jacksonville, Florida. hmm And I didn't realize I was raped. I call it molestation, but it wasn't until I was in my 30s talking about with my therapist. And she said, "No, you were raped." And I was like, "What?" She said, "Yeah, I mean, molestation is touching and petting and all, but you were raped." And I just remember catching my breath and like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I was." And there comes a point in my first try for sobriety when I had my 7 years. It was doing that first 7 years that when it came, that there were certain things in the first 7 years of my sobriety that I worked through. That was one of them. Letting go of that, not holding on to that. Um, Letting go of the physical abuse that I got. I worked through that and let go of that. What I haven't let go is the fear of abandonment. That one seems to be a little tougher and is sticking around a little longer than I would like it to stick around. But the other stuff, I've gotten over. It's the abandonment issue, being left alone, as I would say, left for dead. Yeah. So I know at the age there comes a point to where you have to say, I can't play the victim in my own life. I can't be continuing to make myself a victim to the past. You have to be ready to do the work. I can tell you now, if you're not watching your vices, if you're smoking and gambling and doing all that stuff that because it's legal, you don't think it's a problem, it is. It's keeping you from doing the work. All that stuff keeps you emotionally prisoned. And it's like any other addiction. It's not dealing with feelings and wanting to change how you feel. So you pick up a cigarette, you smoke, stuffing those feelings away, or gamble, whatever. It's like anything that is controlling you has you in shackles. And you can't completely be successful until you're ready to sit in that emotional truth. I told my friend that. I tried to tell him about smoking. People who smoke are stuffing their feelings. And he was like, no, I'm dealing with my stuff. And I can tell by the way his response was that it wasn't my place to argue with that. Because one thing I've learned, nobody wants to hear the truth until they're ready for the truth. So in his response, I knew then, okay, this is not my battle. I just told him my opinion and what I did and whatever, but I know truthfully, smoking is an addiction. It's like drugs, and we use drugs to change our feelings, or to stuff our feelings, or to avoid our feelings, and that's what smoking does. You drugs to stuff it, which means he's talking about stuff. Yeah, he's talking about surface stuff, but he ain't talking about the deep stuff. Some of that family stuff that's got him, that will show its face at times when he, or holidays or something like that. He ain't talking about that stuff, deep stuff. And another reason why I come back to I had to let go of stuff, because I was holding on to stuff because I wanted the grown-ups who hurt me to tell me they were wrong, and and they're sorry and all that. And I found out through my therapist that that's not going to happen. So if I bring this stuff up to my man who I thought was his father and all this, they'll probably look at me like, "What? I don't remember." You know what I mean? So I also realized in my first try of recovery, there's a lot of stuff that I'm gonna have to act out in my head myself to forgive myself and have this conversation as if I had it with the grown-ups. And my friend also said that once we talked about his mother. He's had this conversation and she doesn't understand, or she doesn't see, or and I wanted to say, well, I wanted to say to him, you're going to have to find a way to resolve this without her. Because you're using her to keep you as a victim. And it's no longer about her. It's about you. But I couldn't say that to him. Because no one wants to hear the truth until they're ready to hear the truth. And that was something that I've learned. And that I had to come to terms with it. Oh, I have to do this for me. I have to figure out how to resolve this. Because my mother, by then, she's dead. My man who was my father, the man who written, I was like, no, this is about me. And I'm not going to hold on to this past, waiting for someone else to give me permission to let go. Because the recovery talks about people, places, or things. It's all the same thing. You're beholding to people, places, or things. You're beholding to wait for people to tell you they're sorry or to take responsibility for what they've done. And in 99% of the case, that's just not going to happen. So you have to figure out how to make it work for you. Because what I've learned is you're not going to get what you want, especially when you have to deal with other people. But I can't have this talk because, I only have 2 years. But this is not even for 2 years. This is something I've learned from my life, from all the self-help books I read, from therapy that I've been in since I was 14. And listening to other people talking in meetings. My first, that these are things that I've come to realize and learned how to move forward. And me moving forward is not dedicated. Is not based on what someone else has said or do, or what they will do or won't do. It's about me. And at one point, you have to take ownership of how you move forward. And I know we all want people to hurt us, who hurt us, to say they're sorry. We all want our parents to own up to that they weren't good parents. But that's a tall order to ask for. And a lot of parents may not even have the power. They're not the power, but the guilt is so consuming that they don't even want to think about it. To know that they're responsible for their child's hurt. So you have to realize, I have to do this. This is not about them. This is about me. This is about me. So I'm a lot better off, even though I relapsed. But even that relapse, the second time, took me in areas that I needed to go. It forced me to think about my blackness. It did. I know it sounds crazy, but it did.